I have two breaking stories here. One, Donald Trump makes surprise move to destroy sanctuary cities. And watch Jeff Sessions stuns media, makes announcement we've been waiting for. I'm going to go with that one first. Attorney General Jeff Sessions appeared as a surprise guest today at the White House press meeting, joining Sean Spicer in announcing some incredible news. Jeff Sessions stood at the White House podium and told the nation that the Department of Justice will now require sanctuary cities to obey federal immigration laws. If they do not comply, any monetary awards that were previously granted will be revoked. And if they don't mention it now, I'm going to mention it later because I saw this already and I saw something about it. He also said it may also affect future. So in the future, if you decide to do, you may not be able to get your funds even in the future. So watch out.
The Department of Justice has a duty to enforce our nation's laws, including our immigration laws. Those laws require us to promptly remove aliens when they are convicted or detained of certain crimes. The vast majority of American people support this common sense requirement. According to one recent poll, 80% of Americans believe that cities that arrest illegal immigrants for crimes should be required to turn them over to immigration authorities. Unfortunately, some states and cities have adopted policies designed to frustrate this enforcement of immigration laws. This includes refusing to detain known felons on federal detainer request or otherwise failing to comply with these laws. For example, the Department of Homeland Security recently issued a report showing that in a single week, there were more than 200 instances of jurisdictions refusing to honor ICE detainer requests with respect to individuals charged or convicted of a serious crime. The charges and convictions against these aliens include drug trafficking, hit and run, rape, sex offenses against a child, and even murder. Such policies cannot continue. They make our nation less safe by putting dangerous criminals back on the streets. We all remember the tragic case of Kate Steinle, the 32-year-old woman who was shot and killed 2 years ago in San Francisco as she walked along a pier with her father. The shooter, Francisco Sanchez, was an illegal immigrant who had already been deported 5 times and had 7 felony convictions. Just 11 weeks before the shooting, San Francisco had released Sanchez from its custody, even though Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers had filed a detainer requesting that he be held in custody until immigration authorities could pick him up for removal. Even worse, Sanchez admitted the only reason he came to San Francisco was because it was a sanctuary city. A similar story unfolded just last week whenever Valles, an illegal immigrant and a Mexican national, was charged with murder and robbery of a man at a light rail station. Valles was released from a Denver jail in late December, despite the fact that ICE had lodged a detainer for his removal. The American people are not happy with these results. They know that when cities and states refuse to help enforce immigration laws, our nation is less safe. Failure to deport aliens who are convicted of criminal offenses puts whole communities at risk, especially immigrant communities in the very sanctuary jurisdictions that seek to protect the perpetrators. DUIs, assaults, burglaries, drug crimes, gang rapes, crimes against children, and murderers. Countless Americans would be alive today, and countless loved ones would not be grieving today if these policies of sanctuary cities were ended. Not only do these policies endanger lives of every American, just last May, the Department of Justice Inspector General found that these policies also violate federal law. The President has rightly said disregard for law must end. In his executive order, he stated that it is the policy of the executive branch to ensure that states and cities comply with all federal laws, including all immigration laws. Today, I'm urging states and local jurisdictions to comply with these federal laws, including 8 U.S.C. Section 1373. Moreover, the Department of Justice will require that jurisdictions seeking or applying for Department of Justice grants to certify compliance with 1373 as a condition of receiving those awards. This policy is entirely consistent with the Department of Justice's Office of Justice Programs guidance that was issued just last summer under the previous administration. This guidance requires state and local jurisdictions to comply and certify compliance with Section 1373 in order to be eligible for OJP grants. It also made clear that failure to remedy violations could result in withholding grants, termination of grants, and disbarment or ineligibility for future grants. The Department of Justice will also take all lawful steps to claw back any funds awarded to a jurisdiction that willfully violates 1373.
Claw back any funds. Did you catch that? Could you just can you envision that, like, what did we give you last month? Suck that money right back out of your stinking hands. That's it. You tell him, Jeff.
In the current fiscal year, Department of Justice's Office of Justice Programs and Community-Oriented Policing Services anticipates awarding more than $4.1 billion in grants. I strongly urge our nation's states and cities and counties to consider carefully the harm they are doing to their citizens by refusing to enforce our immigration laws and to rethink these policies. Such policies make their cities and states less safe. Public safety as well as national security are at stake and put them at risk of losing federal dollars. The American people want and deserve a lawful system of immigration that keeps us safe and one that serves the national interest. This expectation is reasonable, just, and our government has the duty to meet it, and we will meet it.
We're going to claw back, baby. Today I'm urging states and local jurisdictions to comply with these federal laws. Moreover, the Department of Justice will require that the jurisdictions seeking and applying for the DOJ grants certify compliance with the 1373 as a condition for receiving those awards, stated Sessions. In his speech, Sessions called out California and Maryland, which had been voicing plans to become sanctuary states. Point blank, Sessions described these plans as a huge mistake. His plea to those two states, Sessions described the type of violence and crime Maryland and California would be welcoming into their homes to terrorize their citizens. As President Trump once said of illegal immigrants, they're not sending their best. Hopeful, Sessions' speech today will be a wake-up call to all the cities and states that provide sanctuaries to illegal aliens. With Trump's administration and the DOJ cracking down on these areas, many cities and states could start to lose a lot of money if they continue to harbor criminals, and that's what they're doing. As the Angry Patriot previously reported, a list has now been released of all the cities and states that offer shelter to illegals. The list is long, and it couldn't be more troubling. The fact that so many of our nation's cities are rebelling against the federal law and Americans as a whole to host criminals in the midst of this is outrageous. Illegal aliens have no legal American rights, and they should never come before the American people. Fortunately, some cities, such as Miami, are already getting the picture. Miami recently reversed its stance on being a sanctuary city and is no longer attempting to harbor illegal immigrants. With this new announcement from Sessions, we expect several other cities will have a change of heart and kick out the illegals. It won't be long before it no longer exists at all. What do you think about Jeff Sessions' announcement? Comment below and let us know what you think. Also, please share this with your friends on Facebook and Twitter to get the word out. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe and hit the bell next to the subscription button. I have one more story, actually, right? Almost forgot. Sorry. Let's get to that. That was, gee whiz. I guess, okay, sorry, people. This is the, because I wanted to line it up with the sanctuary cities, see? Breaking, Donald Trump makes a surprise move to destroy sanctuary cities. Liberals are still fighting Trump on their desire to protect illegals and create sanctuary cities, but Trump is stepping up his game. They don't stand a chance. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is developing better operations in sanctuary cities to try to make these liberal cities see they should cooperate with federal government rather than fight it. Via CNN. A senior immigration official stated that some ICE officials have been talking and meeting to discuss increasing raids in sanctuary cities to locate and detain illegal aliens in this country. This is an issue that has been brought up in Texas as well by the U.S. Magistrate Judge Andrew Austin. A raid was conducted in Texas last month, and some now believe that Texas is one of those locations that has been targeted. Texas has been a controversial state regarding illegals due to having a mix of strict conservatives and far leftists. In the capital, Austin, there was a huge dispute with the governor about sanctuary status in the state. Governor Greg Abbott claimed he would be coming down hard on the policies of sanctuary cities when ICE and DHS identified the state as one of the biggest offenders, as the state released people from detainment who were supposed to be held until immigration officials arrived. President Trump and his administration have not been shy about expressing their dislike of sanctuary cities and those who live there. The whole concept fails to make sense to most of the American people. People break the law to come here and refuse to immigrate legally. Yet they are protected by certain cities and their representatives. What happened to upholding our laws and putting the needs of the American people first? What the hell happened? On Monday, the Department of Homeland Security, the department that controls ICE, put out a list for the first time of the jurisdictions that are refusing to comply with federal law. These states need to cooperate and shouldn't be surprised when more raids happen, because they're going to happen. As liberal snowflakes whine incessantly about ICE finally being able to take action against illegals in sanctuary cities, ICE agents are bravely doing their jobs, no longer hindered by Democrats, constantly pulling them back and red taping them into immobility. ICE was put in place for a reason, and President Trump is planning on using them in their fullest capacity. They are making sure that American people are safe from illegal criminals and strengthening our nation.